Most avoidants have a secret weapon they use the moment they come back. It's called the casual reset. And if you've ever received a hey after 3 months of silence, if you've ever stared at your phone at a single word from someone who disappeared without warning, you already know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of it. You just didn't have a name for it yet. By the end of this video, you will. You'll understand exactly what the casual reset is, why avoidants use it the moment they resurface, and, most importantly, how to respond in a way that protects you instead of pulling you right back into the same cycle. Because here's the thing. Most people, when that message comes in, do one of two things. They either shut it down completely, or they open the door wide. And both of those responses miss the point entirely. So if you've been sitting with that confusion, the strange mix of relief and fury that comes when someone you care about casually reappears like nothing happened, stay with me. This one is going to make a lot of things click. But before we get there, let's clear up the biggest misconception people have, because it shapes everything that comes after. Most people assume that when an avoidant goes silent, it means they've moved on. When an avoidant disappears, the almost universal assumption is that they're fine, that they put you somewhere, closed the door, and kept walking, that the silence is proof of indifference. But that's not what's happening. For an avoidant, silence isn't abandonment, it's regulation. Psychologists call this deactivation. A nervous system responds to emotional overwhelm, not because you did something wrong, but because closeness, for someone with avoidant attachment, triggers the same internal alarm that danger triggers in the rest of us. Their system reads intimacy as threat, and the automatic response to threat is distance. But here's what that myth gets completely wrong. Deactivation suppresses the attachment. It doesn't erase it. The memories are still there. The warmth is still there. And over weeks, sometimes months, as the distance accumulates, something slowly shifts. The fog clears, and a thought surfaces they've been keeping at arm's length. I wonder how they're doing. That's the crack in the silence. Not a sign they've healed. Just a sign that enough distance has made closeness feel possible again. And that's when the casual reset begins. So what does a casual reset actually look like? This is what most videos gloss over. Let's get specific, because you need to recognize this in real time. Here are the exact messages avoidants send when they reactivate after silence. Hey! That's it. One word. After months of nothing. No context, no explanation. Just, hey. And the reason it lands so hard is everything it's not saying. Not I'm sorry. Not I missed you. Just a single word that reopens communication while requiring absolutely nothing from them emotionally. Saw this and thought of you. Followed by a meme or song. Low stakes. Plausibly deniable. It says I'm thinking about you without the vulnerability of actually saying it. If you respond warmly, they move forward. If you don't, they tell themselves it was just a casual share. How have you been? Sent as if you last spoke 2 weeks ago. As if months of silence aren't sitting right behind that question. Sorry I've been MIA lately. Lately, as in 3 months of silence was just a scheduling inconvenience. Or sometimes, no words at all. Just on a photo, a story view, a way of saying I'm here, without risking an actual conversation. All of it is the same thing in different packaging. A low-risk reentry. A way to test whether the door is still open without admitting they were the one who closed it. The casual reset is a defense mechanism designed to skip the one thing that actually needs to happen, a real conversation about the silence. And for an avoidant, that conversation is exactly what their entire system is built to avoid. Now here's something else that needs to be said, because this belief keeps so many people stuck. When they reach out, it's tempting to think it means they've changed. And that's painful to let go of, because part of you wants it to be true. Reaching out after deactivation is not growth. It's a natural rhythm of the avoidance cycle. Pull away when closeness feels threatening. Return when distance has regulated the fear. The return feels significant because of what you went through. But for their nervous system, it's just a pendulum swinging back. Real change sounds like, I know I disappeared, I know that hurt you. I've been working on understanding why I do this, and I want to talk about it. If you're open to it, that's not a hey. That's someone who has actually confronted the pattern. The difference matters. See it clearly before you decide how to respond. So how do you respond? If you've been watching this channel, you know we talk about no contact. And what makes it powerful isn't just a distance. It's what you build during that distance. The clarity, the self-respect, the version of yourself that stops organizing your emotional life around someone else's availability. That's exactly who needs to show up right now. The casual reset is a test, not one they're consciously running, but a test nonetheless. They're measuring whether the old dynamic is still intact, whether you'll fold back into being available and warm before they've offered you anything real. Don't fold immediately. If they send, hey, you don't need to respond in 30 seconds. A simple, measured reply is enough. You are not required to carry the emotional labor of rebuilding a conversation they dismantled. If they send, how have you been? Answer simply, then go quiet. Let them do some of the work. If they give you the surface apology, sorry I've been May, gently push back. It's been a while. What made you reach out? Not accusatory, just honest. You're asking them to bring something real before you open the door all the way. Self-respect isn't about punishing them. It's about requiring honesty from them and from yourself. You are allowed to need more than a hey to trust someone again. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. If I don't respond warmly, I'll push them away again. That fear makes sense. But here's what it's actually costing you. When you respond to a casual reset with immediate warmth and zero acknowledgement of what happened, you communicate one thing clearly. The silence had no consequences. And for an avoidant not yet doing the work, that doesn't motivate growth. It confirms the pattern is safe to repeat. Someone who genuinely values you will be willing to offer accountability, even if it's hard for them. If they disappear because you asked for basic honesty, they weren't ready, and you've lost nothing you actually had. Let's bring this home. When an avoidant resurfaces after long silence, the silence wasn't indifference. It was deactivation, their nervous system regulating the threat of closeness. And when they return, they almost always leave with a casual reset, a one-word text, a low-stakes share, a breezy, how have you been? That papers over months of distance. It's not cruelty. It's avoidance in its most practiced form. And you, the person who stayed present through the silence, who processed a loss, who kept growing, you are not required to make their return easy. Real connection doesn't ask you to